Good day, everyone. It is Peter Dunn, Pete the Planner, host of the Pete the Planner, yo. Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the program. It's that time of the week. Damian Dunn joins me as always. What?
I was surprised you brought me in that fast.
Well, I saw you making a weird move with your face, so I thought I'd put you on camera.
Drop me in.
Oh, welcome Facebook Live, YouTube Live. Everybody's live. Let's see what the comments are rolling in. Good day, Daniel. Good day to you. Guys, there's so much going on this week, so much to report. We're going to talk flag football. My Seahawks, my 7 and 8 year old boys, Seahawks flag football team are 2-0. Some amazing play, some good coaching. We're going to talk about Chip Chat. We caught 2 chipmunks in the last 2 days, and I've relocated them to new homes. Hello, Danza. Dame, as soon as the show's over today, I'm not doing anything for the rest of the day, except I am doing my daughter's soccer team's management stuff for a tournament next weekend. It's very exciting. Howdy, Jameson. Welcome. Everyone checking in. I love it. Dame, enough about me. You're back from your vacation. How was it?
It was oddly relaxing because I was pretty much forced to not look at anything work-related the entire time I was down there. So came back refreshed, some tan lines. We won't go any further, but it was nice.
Take your shirt off.
Kind of like right here.
Take your shirt off. So let's do a shirtless show one day.
No.
Who would be more uncomfortable, you or me?
Me.
I've been lifting a lot. I did a shoulder workout this morning. You know, when you do like a particular muscle group and then you look at yourself in the mirror and that muscle group's still sort of pumped and engorged. I just wanted to say engorged. And then you're like, wow. And then it goes away. Talking shoulders.
Story of my life.
All right, everybody. Oh, my daughter's texting me from school. So this is a good thing. Oh, I sent her the video of me catching a chipmunk, everybody. Dame, a little show planning this week. Here's what we got going. Segment 1. I want to redo what you and I did on February 28th and what we did on a personal call earlier this week. Okay. We are going to assign our level of concern with coronavirus, the economy, and the market. Okay, so we're going to weigh in there. Segment 2, we actually got that good question via... okay, hold on. Todd says the audience and the viewers would be the most uncomfortable in a shirtless show. That is an excellent point. Good day to you, Tracy, as well. Dame, then segment 2 is that great question that was put in the queue this morning by Oz about the people splitting up their estate. Did you see that one?
I did.
And then the third one, there was a third one, and I don't remember what it was. It was good, though. I don't want to do that USPS one because I feel like it just runs out of steam real quick. Yeah. It could get weird. We'll figure it out.
As we always do.
All right, everybody. Oh, you know what? I don't know if anyone will care on this stream, but I'd be curious for you to weigh in. Dame and I are considering, or I'll say I'm considering it, and I ran it by Dame, and he liked it, of making the podcast this entire thing. So as it stands now, I take the radio segments and then I make the podcast as its own little radio show. But all this pre-talk and between segment talk and after show talk never makes the podcast. So I know that you guys always get that and you may or may not enjoy it. But we did have someone weigh in and like, you know what? I'm usually a podcast listener, but I liked the live show better. So if you care, let us know in the comments there if you'd prefer the full McGillicuddy when it comes to the podcast. Do you have a preference, Dame?
I'd be interested to see how it would be received if we did the whole thing.
You know, yeah. I knew this was going this direction. It is the best idea. It is the best idea. Oh, look at Betty. Hello, Betty. Betty, our friend and competitive eater. Betty, what is your most impressive competitive eating feat that you've ever eaten in your face hole? So what, Dame? She's a competitive eater.
I know. I just never mind.
What? The face hole was a little much?
I just wondering where else you'd try and eat something.
Oh, that's too, Dame, that's on the nose, buddy. You gotta dial it down.
Sorry.
I'm just kidding. So we'll see what Betty has to say, and we'll pop in there during the break. Okay, let's start the show. Because look, my time with you right now, Dame, is the only thing standing between me and doing nothing. I'm on season 5 of The West Wing. I'm rewatching the entire show, and I watch it all the time. And my wife, holy crap, Betty, a 2-pound burger in 6 minutes and 33 seconds. A 2-pound burger.
Were there toppings on that, or is it just here for the meat?
I like to make a 6-ounce burger at home, and yeah, I do weigh them.
Of course you do.
Yeah, that's not surprising. So I like to get 1.5 pounds of meat.
Okay.
To make burgers for 4 people. But then my kids complained and said they're too thick. They're like, we like thinner burgers. I'm like, you know what? I start screaming, you're wrong. Let's start the show in 3, 2, 1. This week on the Pete the Planner Show, we answer your money questions. Here's how the show works. You email us, askpete@petetheplanner.com. That's askpete@petetheplanner.com. And guess what happens? A lot of times nothing, but sometimes we read those questions on the show. When I say we, I mean me, Padre. No, compadre. Damian Andrew Dunn. When I get into my Spanglish, the whole thing breaks down. Hello, Dame.
Hello, Pete.
For those that don't know, and arguably for all of those that don't care, Dame's the Vice President of Advice at Your Moneyline and Hey Money. And my friend, Dame, on February 28th, of the year 2020, you and I had a conversation on this here radio show. We recorded it on the 28th. It aired for the first time on the 1st of March. And then it made its way to the podcast on the 2nd of March. And the conversation revolved around the following concept. Dame, how concerned are you with the pandemic? Which at the time, it was just the coronavirus. There was no pandemic. Question 2 was, how concerned are you with the market? And then question 3 was, how concerned are you with the economy? So as a point of history, it was not called a pandemic yet. The market was getting beaten up pretty bad at that point. February 19th was the high for the S&P 500. And by March 23rd, the S&P had shed 34% of its value. And the economy had not yet seen anything. In fact, Dame on the show, which I listened back to this morning, I had flights planned like 2 weeks later. We talked about on the show. Yeah. And it's also worth noting, Dame, that on that show, do you remember the other little weird element to all of this?
I don't.
I had no voice. Why? Because it's possible, and I'm not kidding, I actually had COVID-19.
Let's just say you did.
I don't know how to handicap that idea, but I think I did. I had breakfast a week before with a gentleman who had just been to Hong Kong. And at breakfast, he was sick and coughing. And he was telling me about how weird Hong Kong and Asia were based on the virus striking there. And it didn't even occur to me. So then I got sick on Monday, canceled all of my appointments until I think Friday when you and I did the show again.
You were out.
Yeah, I was out. I was hurting. And I fatigue, body aches, mild unattractiveness, all the symptoms. And so, Dame, what I want to do right now, I want to revisit our conversation. Dame, how concerned are you with the pandemic as it stands right now? 1 is not concerned. 10, you're very, very concerned. Where are you?
I'm probably somewhere 6-ish, somewhere in there, 7-ish. I think we're learning how to kind of get through our daily lives with what we are faced with at this point, but it's still something that's sitting out there. It's not a great time to be in areas that just don't have a good rap on it right now.
I am at about an 8. I'm at about an 8 right now, trending towards a 9. as opposed to trending back down to a 7. Now, Dane, when I framed this question to you differently 238 days ago, I have to be honest, I framed it a bit differently, which may have impacted your answer and my answer. I said, how concerned are you about you and your family's health and safety? Which isn't exactly your concern about the pandemic, although our answer got there. But I'm just trying to be fair because I'm going to give our answers what they were then.
I probably said like a 2 or 3 about my personal family's safety.
You said a 1.
Okay.
And I know you very well. I'm going to say it's because of how I framed the question.
Mm-hmm.
Because if nothing else I know about you is you will do everything in your power to protect your family's health and safety. And I think your answer is influenced by that. So I think that's why you were a 1.
Yes, let's give me the benefit of the doubt.
Well, no, I absolutely. Why wouldn't I? This episode is not about saying we were right or wrong. It's just revisiting. But anyway, you were wrong. I was a 6. I was a 6. But my answer was based on that I had a flight in 2 weeks.
And no flights on the calendar forever for you at this point.
Dame, as it goes to the market, 1, no concern. 10, you're freaking out about the stock market right now and your individual investments. Where are you right now?
2. Market's going to market. We saw how quickly it crashed, and then inexplainably it rushed right back. And it's hard to put a finger on it because we've been through lots of really, really traumatic stuff in the last 100 years of this country, and for better or worse, things keep moving on. They just keep steamrolling on, and some days we have, or some years we have, not so great returns. But if you believe in everything that's going in the market and how it's going to work, you got to believe in the long-term outcome.
Dame, how much is your 2 influenced by the election here in about 11 days or so? Is there any of your uncertainty or concern based on the likely volatility that's heading our way in the next 3 weeks?
I mean, if you're asking me on short-term stuff, that makes me a little nervous. There's just always some uneasiness, instability. People are trying to figure out what a new administration may look like if they come in and implement some of the ideas they've got. That's definitely a concern. The political concerns are what could certainly upset the apple cart. But overall, like I said, long-term view, really not too concerned.
I'm a 1 on a long-term view, but I'm a 2 on a short-term view. Like the volatility will freak people out, and not that matters, but Damon, you and I both know behaviorally that will lead to people making giant mistakes, and so that's what upsets me. 238 days ago, on February 28th, when you and I had this conversation, you were a 1 and I was a 1. So go figure.
Yeah.
Right. All right. The economy, Dame, where are you right now with the U.S. economy? We could take it to the global economy, but let's take it to the U.S. economy. Where are you right now?
Probably about a 7. We've talked at no short length on some of the challenges that we see coming in the last quarter of the year, whether it's election stuff, whether it's living arrangement stuff with rental or eviction moratoriums that are going to get kicked out. Virus seems to be ramping back up, so I'm almost certain that some states or cities are going to have more strict regulations on what you can and can't do. And so I'm a little afraid that we're going to get into a cycle of open things up, shut things back down, open things up, shut things back down, or half open. It's just really tough to be confident when you don't know what rules you're going to play by in the next 3, 6, 12 months.
Yeah. So I'm at an 8 or a 9. You and I had this discussion. Was it yesterday? How long ago did we actually have this conversation privately?
Could have been yesterday. Could have been
3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
It was yesterday or the day before. I think I said an 8 to you when we had that conversation, but I've talked myself into a 9. And we'll actually, I think for the exact same reasons why you just said, I don't need to repeat them. I just feel maybe a hair stronger about those same things you just mentioned.
Mhm.
When you and I had this conversation 238 days ago, you were a 3 to 5. Okay, but again, with the information we had, I never actually gave a number, but I said I was more concerned about the economy than the pandemic, and I gave the pandemic a 6. So
Okay.
I don't know. All right, Dan, let's do this. Coming up after the break, we'll wrap this thing up, and then we'll move on to a question about how to split up an estate. All that and more is next on the Pete the Planner Show. I'm Pete the Planner. All right, Mrs. Planner is in line to vote right now, and she sent a picture, and it says, could be worse, and there's several hundred people in front of her.
Can we crowdsource her vote? If we all chime in, will she just pick the winner of our little poll?
So in 2008, she went to vote, and something happened at the very end of the voting day. And essentially her and everyone else in around her area, in terms of in line, their votes were thrown out and did not count because of some error with the system. And she's still mad about it, which I would be too.
Sure.
Spent all that time. All right. Oh, let's see this. Danza says her county slid back into the most restrictive zone again this week. That's scary. It is. Danza's the try host of the show. Pete weighs his burgers to a precise 6 ounces and says he's not fun. Jameson, I was in and out of my polling place in Texas in about 9 minutes. Was thankful for that polling place was large and had a good flow going. Fantastic. No Dunny Downers this week. I'm nearing the end of The Good Place, feeling very fragile right now. Dame, do you watch The Good Place? Have you seen that show?
Nope.
Mrs. Planner watches it when I go to bed because, again, I'm kind of a bummer.
What service is that on?
I think it's on Hulu now, maybe Netflix. I don't know. It's an NBC show, maybe Peacock Plus. Is that a thing?
Sure.
All right, so Dame, let's wrap up that segment. Then I have a more. I have an idea for a third segment, but it's definitely a downer. Should I go with that next or third?
How about no?
Well, no, I think it's important. It's not a downer. It's solemn. I got to drink more water. I'm getting headaches at night, so time out while I drink. Was that really loud drinking?
That's going to make great podcast right there.
Well, no, it's not. I'm not doing this whole thing as the podcast this week. Damn it. Okay. Oh, Danza says it's on Netflix. Jameson loves The Good Place. Of course he does. Jameson loves everything that's cool. That's just, he's a trendsetter. He's an influencer. Okay. We're going to do the solemn segment. I'm sorry.
Okay. All right.
Yes, money saver. It's really water. I've been getting headaches. And Mrs. Planner, she's like, don't get headaches. Drink water.
Aren't headaches a symptom of COVID?
Stop. Don't joke with me about COVID. I got to show my shirt today. Hold on, everybody.
Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Mr. Belding in the Saved by the Bell reboot.
Think if I started doing this.
No.
Look how uncomfortable that is.
No.
Okay, I'm sorry. Hold on. I had a conversation with a company today, and they were asking about our company's social media, and they're like, well, how do you, is it personal? Do you keep it professional? And I was like, it's pretty professional.
I mean, yeah, the actual Your Money line and Hey Money, they're great because you don't run them.
Here's what my social media has been, including this moment in the last 24 hours. Capturing chipmunks, debating whether or not to eat pizza while waiting for my daughter to get done with soccer.
Was fantastic.
Or me getting undressed.
How did that go? How was it received last night? For those of you that don't know, check out Pete's Twitter from last night. It was a great conundrum that he was dealing with, eating a piece of pizza before he got home to give it to everybody else.
You know, I think we can since we're not on the air right now, let's just show it. Let's just show how it went down last night. Okay, everybody.
It is.
Hold on a second. Give me a second here.
There's the cliffhanger because I still don't know how this ended.
Okay. Man, this is tough to do here. Okay, we're doing it though. Share screen. We're gonna inception some people here for a second though. This is gonna be very inceptionally. Ready? Here we go. Okay. Well, I need to move this now. Hold on. You guys, this is worth it. Trust me. Okay. So this is how it went down. I need your help. I just picked up a pizza for dinner prior to picking up my daughter, prior to driving the pizza and the daughter home to enjoy as a family. Soccer's done in 20 minutes, home in 35 minutes. I'm starving. Can I eat a piece right now? Please advise. All right. So Dame, let's start there. What have you been in this situation?
I don't think I've ever had to wait that long with delicious food in my car. Usually it's just go get it, maybe pick something up, but I mean like 15 minutes in the car tops.
Oh my gosh. So I'll tell you this. I got to take Daniel's comment off here. Oh, sorry. I'll tell you this. It was hard. It was very difficult. I started, asking people, and I got one particular question from someone who really matters in this world. Like I got a lot of people weighing in, but Emmy Award winning journalist Angela Ganote weighed in. I couldn't find her answer there. Weighed in and said, absolutely do it. So then I tweeted out, hold on, that's Chip Chat. Then I tweeted out this picture because I had taken care of that piece of pizza from Pizzology in the east side of Carmel. That is the homemade sausage. That is fennel on the top. So don't freak out thinking it's onions. Okay. Mm-hmm. Then it got a little awkward from there because I started to feel bad. So I texted my wife the following things. Hey, I put, can you grab some wine from the cellar? And she said, what do you want? And I said that Barbara D'Asti from Phil. And she said, and then I put, because I felt guilty, feel free to open it, enjoy a glass. And then she hit me with, I'll wait for you. Then all hell broke loose. And then I'm panicking. My wife's a very nice person, but she intimidates me very badly. Social media is flipping out. It's a very anyway. So Dave, the rest of the story is this. I fessed up to it because I just can't handle it. I can't handle the guilt. And so I told her after dinner, I was like, look, I got to let you know. Then I showed her the social media thing since she thought it was funny. So anyway, that's what's going on. Okay. Let's start a segment here.
Okay.
You sound pretty excited. Was that only entertaining to me? Was that what just happened there?
What, the Twitter?
Oh yeah, what we just did there.
No, Twitter was awesome.
Okay, but I'm saying retelling it.
No, I loved having your live commentary going through it.
Well, you can be honest. So 3, 2, 1. Back on the Pete the Planner show. Yeah, so I'm just wondering, as you think about, or you're listening to Dame and I right now, you think about what is going on with the pandemic, the market, and the economy. How have your thoughts changed? I feel, I'll just speak for myself. I feel like as we just revisited from our segment of episode 350 of the podcast and the radio show from February 28th of 2020, I feel like my thoughts have remained consistent. And my fear has increased as it relates to the pandemic. And I have a lot of concerns about the economy. Dame, do you want to evaluate yours?
My perspective has, I think, changed on a greater scale than yours certainly has. I've taken it more seriously than I did at first. And I think that's proven to be the correct outcome for me. But we've talked also in that conversation yesterday or 3 weeks ago, who knows when it was.
Who knows?
That our environments are really influencing how we are viewing a lot of these specific things. For you live in a large metro area. I live in a very, well, not very remote, but a small town type of environment where it's just different factors that influence our day-to-day lives. And if the roles were reversed, I truly believe that you and I would see things closer to the way each other sees them currently. That's not saying that one of us is wrong right now and the other's right. It's just that this is what we're experiencing. This is what we know. And we may both be very reasonable based on what we see on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah, that got to a bigger, more meaningful conversation too, which, not that that wasn't meaningful, but a more meaningful conversation of, when you disagree with someone or you see it differently, sometimes we let the operative moment be the disagreement itself and not trying to see it from their perspective or to try to understand why they think what they think. You don't take the moment to look at their environment or to see how they were raised or what their current standing is. And again, that went beyond our conversation about the pandemic and the economy and the market. But it is funny how now it's 0 to 100 with anyone you disagree with. And it's like you demonize them and their ideas. And I just try to challenge myself to not do that, just to say, okay, so on the surface, I really disagree with this idea. But like, let's think about why they're there. Now, Dave, this took me to a different perspective as you and I both feel like we're in a rather stable place as it relates to the pandemic, the economy, and the market. You and I both know that not all our loved ones and friends are in the same position. And you try to be sensitive to that. And you try to, by the way, that was a great segue. I mean, I know that I'm already in it and I should keep going, but I do need to recognize what a great segue that was.
Well, now you have to bring it home.
And so you want people to know that you care about them, but you don't want to do it in a way that either patronizes them or makes them talk about things they don't want to talk about. So, Dave, I think something really important that a lot of people need to think about is this idea of checking on your people and simply saying, look, there is so much going on right now. It is wild. And I got to thinking about it and I'm wondering, how are you holding up with all this? I mean, any financial stress stuff got you down? And then just listen. Because, Dame, I think sometimes when we talk about uncomfortable things or people come to us with uncomfortable things, we try to solve the problem. And by God, Dame, you're a professional financial problem solver. So it's like, it's sometimes just important to let someone be heard and to help them talk about what they're going through. And Dame, here's where this is really going. I was talking to a buddy last night whose partner lost her job. And he and I were talking about, just very simply, it wasn't a big conversation, but it was a meaningful one to me. It's this idea that we all know what it's like to go through a tough time. You've been through a tough time. I've ever been through a tough time. But by God, that's the second time I said that in a minute. By God, third time. Isn't watching someone you love go through a tough time so much worse than your own tough time?
There's not much that you can do for that person in that situation to help them get over whatever that hurdle may be. And the toughest thing for me in that situation is to know that it's not my job to fix it.
Yeah.
My job is just to listen and be there and support and encourage and do whatever I can do to make that time period for them a little bit easier. So I don't always, you're talking to a planner. I mean, cry many planners in your name. We want to try and fix stuff or have a plan to get out of something. And sometimes the best thing that we can do, maybe some people would argue a lot of the time, is just shut up and listen and ask, what can I do to help you? If it's just sit here and let you vent, I'm going to be a really good listener in that case.
Yeah, Dave, I put this out to our group because we listen to people's real big challenges from a financial perspective all the time. And so we try to study the concept of empathy within our organization. And we don't try to, we do. And we pass along things to each other. And so what I want to do now is I just want to share some phrases of empathy that you can use with people that you care about as they're going through a tough time. So I'm going to go through 7 with you now. And so when someone expresses something to you, to make sure that they're being heard, you can say the phrase, if I'm understanding you correctly, right? Man, how great, Dame, is it for someone to care that they're understanding you.
Plus, it shows that you're listening. You're actively engaged in what they are telling you and trying to work through themselves. You're not just mindlessly bobbing your head up and down, waiting for them to take a breath so you can interject something.
How about this? Quote, I would feel frustrated about that too. Or I would feel upset about that too. I would feel confused about that too. I would feel surprised about that too. Here's a very powerful one that's as simple as it gets. You're right. You're right. Man, how good does that have to feel to hear when you're down and you're doubting everything, that you don't even want to validate your own feelings?
Yeah, it's a huge relief off your shoulders. And to be perfectly honest, that's a great one to use even if you're not sure they're right. Just to calm the situation down a little bit and give them a chance to maybe start unwinding some additional baggage they need to get rid of.
I'm sorry you had to deal with this. I like that. I like that one a lot. It does get dangerous to the point. It almost feels like I'm sorry you feel that way, which is not exactly great. Or I'm sorry, especially when you're apologizing to someone, but this is not necessarily apology, but I'm sorry you've had to deal with that is actually a pretty good phrase. Now, this one I don't like that much if used too loosely. I've experienced this issue recently too. Because I think, Dame, sometimes when we try to relate to people who are struggling, we begin to steal the story. And then it turns into one-upsmanship, and that just gets real ugly. So I feel like you can say, well, I have been through that too, but then you can't necessarily go through and tell them your experience, or that's not great.
I've been way more conscious of that one. And as I get older, I think it's very natural for people to try and build that camaraderie or rapport or a sense of allegiance with somebody and share what they've experienced as well. But man, that's probably not the right route.
Or if you're talking to someone and they open up to you, say, thank you for talking to me about this. No one expects to be thanked for complaining about their situation, but I'll tell you, it's a really validating feeling. And again, to attach onto that, just telling someone you appreciate the conversation is, obviously another form of thanks, but that's a good way to go. All right, Dave. See, that wasn't too much of a downer, was it, buddy?
No, I think we skated on that one.
All right, coming up for the break, an actual financial question. Yeah, they may even let us keep the show after this week. You never know. We'll see what happens in the election. This is the Pete the Planner Show. I'm Pete the Planner. See, that wasn't too much of a downer.
No, it was all right.
But man, you've been there. Like when you've got someone who's really struggling with something and you're just like, that helpless feeling of like, oh, I hate that they're going through this.
Oh yeah. I mean, I will tell you, as a young man, young husband, I screwed this up all the time. Pete didn't hear that because it was cycling through on the audio recording.
Oh, go ahead. What did you say?
So as a young man and a young husband, I screwed that up all the time. Just I was not good at it.
Oh, I agree. See, now Mrs. Planner's told me to drink more water. I've emptied this of water. Now I'm like, do I go get more water? No. I just want to follow directions.
That's understandable. But she's voting. She'll never know. Because she's not going to watch this.
Oh, she's definitely not watching this. Your wife still watches this.
I know. I don't know why.
Okay. 3, 2, 1. Oh, wait. We still have health checks being run. Oh, my God. Have you noticed the system's been not as great over the last couple of months?
Yes. Mine's ready to go. Yours is the one that's having problems.
Which is weird because I've got faster internet than you do.
He does. How's that working out?
Not good right now. I'm going to refresh it.
Okay.
Yeah, see, this is why we don't need to put this stuff on the podcast, because people will be like, what the hell are they doing? 3, 2, 1. Back on the Pete the Planner Show, answering your money questions. All right, Dame, we actually do have a financial question that we're going to get to this week, and I'm stalling so I can find it. Here it is. Dear Pete, wondering if you ever hear of parents leaving 4 of their 6 adult children all their real estate on planet Earth, which includes 48 acres, 2 houses, and a commercial building at the age of 74 in good health, and the remaining 2 children not even told about it. When pressed, there is reportedly something else in financial accounts, possibly for when they die to be handed in a will, which could be in 20 years. Any thoughts? Appreciated, or possibly good fodder for your next article. Signed, an interested party. Ooh. What's the emoji called where the guy's gritting his teeth?
Is it cringe? No, it's not. I don't know. Could be.
Oh, man, this stinks. I've seen so many different versions of this.
Yeah, which I guess leads to the answer. Yeah, we have heard of stuff like this before. It's not super common, but it ain't the first time I've heard of something like this.
So obviously there's a lot to the story we don't know, and probably just as much of the story that the person who emailed us doesn't know. And I'm going to go ahead and make a guess, Dame, that the person emailing us might be involved in the situation.
I think that's a fair assumption.
So how do you prevent things from getting this way? Like, it's funny. Last week after the show, I had a bunch of people email me articles that Chadwick Boseman did not have a will. He was Black Panther, the actor that played Black Panther. And people love to talk about when celebrities don't have wills, and they like to say, well, what can you learn from this? I've never been one to really indulge in that conversation because that's just a deeply personal thing that I feel sad for. But Dame, yeah, a lack of estate planning tends to do this. Or what you could argue in this case is there was estate planning. It just didn't go the way these people wanted.
I think that's the bigger question here, is that decisions were made and they were not the decisions that this interested party cares to be really all that tuned up about. So it happens for whatever reasons. I've seen businesses left to certain kids and others be cut out, primarily because the parent didn't think that the other kids would either A, have any interest in it, or be any good at running the business. And they wanted to make sure that that business had some longevity, had a chance to continue on after they were gone. Now, usually there's some kind of concession made. Maybe there's an insurance policy that the other kids that don't get the business get, or some other compensating property or investment accounts or anything like that, which is what the thing they're alluding to in this email may turn out to be, or it may not. Because, Pete, I don't know if you've seen it, but I've seen instances where some kids have been left out of the will entirely, which is always a fun conversation.
Over the years, I've talked tough about various topics because I didn't necessarily, I wasn't close enough from an experience standpoint to be able to really weigh in on it. Like before I'd have kids, I'd talk tough about how to parent like an idiot. Right. Yeah. And, various things like that. Oh, travel sports are terrible. Then you have kids and you're like, oh, okay, I can sort of see the glory there. I will say this, and I don't think I'm going to regret this. If my parents at their passing left everything to my sister and not me, whatever they have, I don't know if I'd care. And I think it's because it has nothing to do with me. It has to do with what they want to do. And yeah, I guess my feelings could theoretically be hurt because they wanted to give it to a sibling and not to me. But I feel like when we get too upset about stuff like that, we're taking ownership of someone else's wants, desires, assets. And it's like, I want to think it wouldn't bother me.
You have to realize that that's an incredibly unique perspective, though, right?
Or I'm full of it. But I'm trying to be honest, but I don't know if it's unique or not. It's just how I currently feel.
I think a lot of people, I don't even know if a lot of people, I think some people would say that or would express that same sentiment. I'm not sure when push comes to shove that a lot of people are going to feel the same way. I mean, that's a super emotional time to start with. And to think that you may or may not have been left anything by the people who raised you could that would mess you up, not being able to talk through that and have that conversation, try and figure out, okay, is there something we need to work through? Because now you can't. It's over and done with. So I don't know. I think this is a lot stickier maybe than you may be giving it credit for.
Well, I'll say this. I feel like I'm part of a situation in which I know, by no fault of my own, that I will not benefit from a particular relative's estate, right?
Sure.
And what my equal would be was sort of my cousin or whatever like that. Cousins might. I don't particularly care. Now, the fact that I'm bringing it up on a radio show and those sorts of things, it could argue that I care. And a psychotherapist would probably say that I care. But I look at those things and I go, you can only control so much. Why do I feel like I can control what a person does with their life savings that they've then earned and spent? And I don't know. I just think I'll speak for myself because, again, I don't want to be too accusatory if people get upset about this stuff, but I'll speak for myself. I think we as a people, as a human race, do a remarkable job, aka a poor job, at making everything about ourselves. Like when someone dies, I'll be honest, it's not about you. They're dead, right? And it's like, I'm okay. You don't have to leave me any money. I'm fine. Like that's how I personally feel as a 42-year-old reasonably developed male. Reasonably developed male seemed that phrase could get turned.
Yeah, congratulations. We as a species, I think, have a very unique ability to make things worse for ourselves.
Yes.
Whether it's a topic like this or making poor choices that impact our present and our future, there's just so many different ways that we don't look out for our own best interests. And when we start to ascribe motives to other people's decisions that may or may not be true or have anything to do with us at all, we are doing nothing but causing stress for ourselves and maybe those people that care about us.
I think my biggest pet peeve in all of this is when there's living generations and the younger generations assumes that all of the money is going. I mean, that's the financial planning conundrum that you and I have seen for decades. It's my parents are doing pretty well. They're going to take care of us. And that used to just drive me bananas. All right, Dame, it's that time of the program. This segment is called, Is This a J Balvin Song or Not? J Balvin, of course, has a new meal at McDonald's named after him. I respectfully had never heard of J Balvin, but guess what? J Balvin's never heard of me, so I don't take any offense to that. Although when I was listening to DMX working out this morning, I like to think that he listens to our podcast when he works out. So, sir, enjoy your chest presses. Dame, does J Balvin sing a song called Rojo, or is that a made-up song? Does J Balvin sing a song called Rojo?
Yes.
Okay. Let's make it a little more difficult.
Am I right?
Answer is yes. Yes, answer is yes. Next. Does he sing a song called Azul?
That's a color in Spanish, right?
Well, Rojo is red. Yeah. Azul is blue.
No, that'd be no way.
I'm sorry. The answer is yes. He does sing a song called Azul. Does J Balvin sing a song called Blanco?
Is the album named Colors of the Rainbow? Colores.
And yes, okay. Each song is a different color. Amarillo, rosa, morado, febrito, negro. That's black. So there you go, Dame. J Balvin sings all those songs. Coming up after the break, more of the Pete the Planner Show. Biggest waste of money of week and more. I'm Pete the Planner. Sometimes I know when I'm trying to make you laugh that you don't, because you don't want to give me the pleasure. But I feel like that was funny.
It was great.
I don't know if you mean it, but I felt it was. And you don't have to think it's fun.
I'm having lighting issues. That's why I seem a little aloof at this moment.
That's why you seem a little alit. That would have been a better joke there.
Except it wouldn't have made sense.
Here we go. Oh, I gotta go to my what's the name of the site? Okay. My laptop is running really hot right now. My wrists were on fire as I was just typing in. Petition for Duns not in Spanish. Not too Spanish. Yeah, look, I took high school Spanish. I was telling my daughter that last night. It did not go well. What?
How many years?
I took 1 year of high school Spanish and 3 years of Latin.
Okay. I mean, because right now you're like at sub handy manny level.
I don't know what that means. Like, I have bad high school Spanish.
I mean, it's just everything that we've talked about, I think, is covered on a Disney show called Handy Manny.
There's a Disney show called Handy Manny with a Spanish-speaking person?
Oh, yeah. It's Wilder
Valderrama?
Yeah.
Really?
He does the voice. I don't know. It may not be actually made anymore, but man.
Does he hit on all the female actresses on the show?
Well, he's got a bag of tools that talks.
What's that now?
You heard me.
Bag of tools?
Bag of tools.
Handy Manny
is the Phillips screwdriver.
It's a sack of hammer. Who's the Phillips screwdriver?
Felipe.
Oh boy. All right. I'm looking for biggest waste of money of the week.
If this isn't podcast content, I don't know what is.
Oh boy. No. Okay. This is what we're going with. Yeah, okay. Let's do it. Let's continue on. And then you have some. I got it. Let's just go, because then at some point in time, it's like I want to stop working for the week. I've only worked 200 hours this week. Okay. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. This week's biggest waste of money of the week, right here on the Pete the Planner Show, is every week on the show we give you an item for sale that if you bought would probably be a giant waste of money. Sometimes it's a good use of money, like Metal Honey Foods' Scorpion Honey, available at metalhoney.com. That's metalhoney.com. Crockett and Jones times 007 James Oxford shoes. Easy for me to say. After making shoes for Skyfall and Spectre, it was no surprise when Crockett and Jones announced they were once again supplying James Bond with footwear in No Time to Die. The James Oxfords bring together the sophisticated silhouette of a hole-cut Oxford in a premium leather construction, resulting in a sharp complement to the 007 signature tuxedo. Made from fine box calf, each pair is crafted using small skins from European tanneries and a tight break for a flawless exterior that's finished off with a leather sole. Inside, an all-black interior features silver foil co-branding logos. The limited edition shoes come in limited edition 007 packaging, including a chrome shoehorn, shoe brush, Sig Sauer, no, I made that part, and a pair of handmade shoe trees, all embossed with 007 logos. Dame, how much do you think these pair of black dress shoes cost?
Do they come with a smoke screen? I mean, it would have been a Walther, not a Sig Sauer.
It would be a Walther PPK, $1,195. Now, look, I don't mind spending money on clothes, dress clothes, but that's a bit much for bad black shoes.
How about just some penny loafers? So, something comfortable.
Danza says, if you're following on Facebook Live, which you can if you're listening to the radio show or podcast every Friday at noon Eastern, go to Pete the Planner Facebook page, and you can just be part of the show right there. Pete's high school Spanish teacher is the biggest waste of money of the week, which is actually very funny. All right, Dame, this week in current events, there was a lot going on. Current financial events. Coke is canceling over 200 drink brands. Did you hear that news?
I did.
Made me think of one of the best movie jokes of all time in Back to the Future. Marty McFly is freshly back in the past, and he orders a tab at a diner, and they're like, "A tab? You haven't even ordered yet. What do you want?" And he's like, "Oh, a Pepsi free. Free? You have to pay for it." Like, so there's all those good jokes. But Coke is canceling Tab, the Adwala, like natural juiced stuff, whatnot. Zico, which is delicious coconut water. Have you had the coconut water? You like the coconut water?
No.
You haven't had it, or you don't like it?
Haven't had it, wouldn't drink it.
Let me tell you, the first time you have coconut water, you hate everything about life. You're like, why would you put this in your mouth? Why would you pour it across your tongue? It doesn't make any sense. And then you have another drink and you're like, it's still terrible. Then you try it again years later, Dame. And you're like, yeah, it's still bad. But then a week later, you have another one and then you become addicted. It's delicious.
Why would you do that to yourself? If you don't
It's
like
delicious.
it,
It's so refreshing.
On the 5th try, 5 years apart.
Still, that's how I felt about tapioca. What are foods that you used to like? This is a financial show. That you used to not like, but now you like. For me, tapioca, salmon, and coconut water are the best ones to go with.
Honestly, eggs. I didn't eat eggs for a long time.
What?
Yeah.
Huh. No huevos?
No.
Dame, did you know that there was a calculation done based on a lawsuit that minor league baseball players actually earn about $4 an hour?
Yeah. It's not great.
You know, a lot of people love sports and they want to make it a career or continue to play as an adult and grow in the game and all those sorts of things. But for $4 an hour, at some point in time, you just got to be like, that's no bueno. I'm out of here.
It is definitely no bueno. And it's not, but if you follow baseball at all, you know that minor league baseball players, except for those that get signed in one of the top few rounds, they don't make anything. And the fact that they hang on as long as they can, when they say chasing a dream, that's what you're doing, because you ain't getting paid for nothing. You're chasing a dream.
My cousin played international basketball. He played Division I college basketball and then played overseas for several years and made a good living. You actually can make really good money playing professional basketball overseas. You can't actually make much money playing professional basketball in the minor leagues in the United States. And so the feeder system is actually Europe. Dame, you sent me this article this week. AMC Theaters is now allowing people to just rent out their whole theater to have people they deem to be safe with them to watch a movie for private viewing parties. They're charging somewhere between $99 to $350 for you to just have your people in there and watch a movie. Thoughts?
I like it. I genuinely think I'm going to do this at some point. I mean, it's a very limited menu of options that you can choose from, but man, if you want to get together with a group of people that you know have been taking the appropriate precautions, having a whole theater to yourself just to go sit down and watch maybe a classic movie that you wanted to see on a big screen again. Jurassic Park's on that list, to go see that in a theater. That might be really worth it. I think that's one of the $100 movies that you could get for 3-4 families. That'd be awesome.
Can you think of a worse business right now than the movie business?
No, that's not. I just drove by a movie theater last night and thought, how is that going to have any longevity at this point?
I mean, I can't think of anything worse than that, because people are still flying. People are still going to restaurants. People are still arguably going on cruise ships. I mean, you got to think some cruise ships out sailing around, but that's probably pretty bad too. So Dame, we love to talk about Robin Hood on this show. Hackers, but of course, Robin Hood, the site, but this is Robin Hood, the legendary thief who steals from the rich and gives to the poor. A mystery Robin Hood hacker is giving away stolen Bitcoin. So this group is jumping in and stealing Bitcoin from what they deem to be bad places and giving it to good places. The gang posted receipts for two $10,000 Bitcoin donations to the Water Project and Children International on a dark web blog post. The BBC reported, along with screenshots of the transaction, when they stole $20,000 and just gave the money to charity. Do you think that's a good charitable giving technique, to steal from people and give it to charity?
If you don't get caught, yeah, sure, go for it, man.
I don't know if that's the message I was hoping to deliver.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, no, that's bad. Dame, PayPal, speaking of cryptocurrency, PayPal is now open their network to cryptocurrencies. Do you think this is the furthest cryptocurrencies have been normalized with the fact that PayPal is now making it part of their platform?
Yeah, I think it's going to force banks' hands to really take a solid look at how they're going to interact with Bitcoin and housing it for their customers. So it's going to add some legitimacy to it, even though the vast majority of the population has no idea how Bitcoin actually works.
Were you co-hosting the show when I bought Bitcoin live on air?
No, I wasn't.
We were still working together. You just weren't on the show then, I think. If I remember.
No, I don't think I'd made my first appearance at that point. I was Justin was
Justin Castelli. Yes. Yeah. Yes. Excellent. All right, Dame. Well, that's all that's in current events this week. So, Dame, here's the thing. Here's what we covered on the show this week. We covered 238 days from the first time we talked about the coronavirus, the economy, and the market. We updated our current perspectives on this. We will do it again, maybe in March, right? We'll take another look. I think both of you and I are more concerned now about the pandemic and about their economy than we were at the beginning. And you and I still remain completely unmoved as it relates to the market, despite the fact that when we first weighed in, the market was getting absolutely hammered and it has since recovered. In fact, it only took 148 days to recover to that February 19th level. Dane, we also talked about how to be more empathetic when you talk to people about their financial struggles. And of course, we talked about cutting people out of wills because, well, it's your right to do so. So, Dame, I'm sending you good vibes because good vibes are all that's in my budget. I'm Pete the Planner. This is the Pete the Planner Show. Everybody, have a good week. I started the outro so soon because I ran out of current events things to say that I had to just draw it out. Sorry, everybody.
That's all right.
Let's hit some comments. Jameson says, even concert crews and large catering has to be hurting. Yeah, large caterers. Totally. Daniel says he stopped drinking soda about 2 years ago. After about a year, I tried some LaCroix thinking it would taste good. Now, nope, still gross.
No, that stuff tastes like hairspray.
I love LaCroix.
Ugh.
Danza says you don't enjoy fizzy water labeled strawberry just because there was one berry in someone's lunchbox in the break room fridge while the fizzy water is being canned. Same. Why can't she be part? Why can't we just have Danza do this?
You want to do a whole show with somebody different each segment?
No, just Danza. I mean, okay. Jameson and Daniel, they do a good job. Betty weighs in with her feats of eats. Feats of eats.
Yeah, I got you.
Mrs. Planner says, but voting update out less than an hour.
That seems like a lot.
I don't know. I might go vote right now.
I was thinking about taking my son to go vote today.
He's not old enough.
Not him, but take him with me so he could experience it.
All right, I'm going to go vote. Hey, everybody, exercise your 23rd Amendment. I don't know. I'm just kidding. I don't know. It's in there. No one cares. Dame, I'm glad to have you back on the show. Although Oz held it down. She did great.
She was amazing. I would gladly let her step in for me every week if she wants to.
Same. Okay, buddy. Well, you have a good one. Everyone else have a good week. I'm about to go exercise my 37th Amendment. All right, everybody. See ya.